Hi everyone, my name is Maria and I'm a first-time mom navigating motherhood during this crazy time while also introducing the concept of Montessori to my baby girl. So if you're a mom-to-be, or interested in the Montessori principle in general, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel below as I make new videos about children, Montessori, and motherhood every single week. As I mentioned in my last week's video, we do spend a lot of our time in the Montessori Inspired Playroom down here on the first floor as opposed to in her nursery upstairs. So today I wanted to go ahead and share that room with you. You will notice that compared to the nursery, we didn't paint the walls or decorate them quite as much. And the reason for that is simple. We didn't set up this room until after she arrived. Originally, we did just have her playing in this room, which is our family room. But since there wasn't any dedicated space for her toys or her playmat, it quickly became a mess and it frustrated her because it's not an organized space. And children do love a sense of order and organization. Even at that early age, they thrive in an organized and orderly environment. And that just wasn't it here. So we quickly needed to figure out a place that was going to be just her own place to play. And the place that we weren't using in this house is actually the dining room. So that is what we converted into our playroom. And since this was after she arrived, I didn't want the smell of paint to be in the house, so we just went with the colors of the walls as they were. And as for any pictures or artwork on the walls, I figured we can wait to put something up when she is ready to have a say in it. And that way she'll have a hand in setting up her own environment as well. Now Stella did just turn 6 months, so she is right on that cusp of transitioning from activities for 3 to 6 months old over to the 6 to 9 month age. So some of the activities you're seeing are still for the 3 to 6 months, but I do have more on the way that are going to challenge her more and help her develop further. So I'll do a quick little update of what it is that I've chosen to add into her rotation of toys. You will notice that I do have a big emphasis on books. I've got a little corner for her books. I've got a book up on her shelf. If there's one thing you're going to incorporate from this video, I would say it's the books. I am a big believer in reading even before birth. Read to your baby when you're pregnant. Have daddy read to the baby when they're pregnant. Read when they're born. Let them hear your voice. They do start to absorb all of it like a sponge, and especially because we are speaking 2 different languages at home with her. So I do want to give her a boost in getting her vocabulary in both languages and just getting a lifelong love for books. I think it's a worthwhile effort, so if there's no other thing that you take away from this video, get some books for your baby. And welcome to our baby girl's Montessori Inspired Playroom. So you'll notice on the left here, I've got the exact same changing station setup that is up in her nursery. And if you haven't seen my nursery tour video, I'll link it here. So you can go ahead and check that out to see exactly how I organized all of this. But it's pretty much the exact same thing. I bought 2 of everything when I was setting up her nursery because I knew I didn't want to run up and down the stairs every single time we needed to change a diaper. And I'm really glad I did that because it is much closer to just jump from here to here as opposed to up and down the stairs. Now in the corner, I've got a fake plant that is actually just temporarily here while we've got Christmas trees up and about. And of course, more books. So we've got her playmat. This is the Baby Einstein one. We'll take a look at it in a second. You'll notice I've got it set up on an extra blanket. It is cold here and it's especially cold in our house, I feel like. So I propped it up in an extra blanket for the winter time. And behind that, we've got her Montessori mirror. Now on this side, we've got a chest freezer and that is full of breast milk. And if you're going to be storing milk of any form and you're debating whether or not to get a chest freezer, get one now. If you're able to store milk, and the longer you can feed breast milk to your baby, the better it is for them. On the bottom there, you will notice the same thermometer barometer box. And the reason I have it on the floor this time is because she is obviously playing on the floor. Now the Nest thermostat, that is up at our eye level. So it will tell me what temperature I'm feeling, but it's not going to tell me what she's feeling on the floor. And it's been really helpful in making sure that she's not cold when she's on the floor. And now this is obviously the infamous Ikea shelf that we're using to display all of her toys. I did start getting it into a Montessori style early on because she is still able to notice whether or not her environment is nice and organized and beautiful or if it's a giant mess. So we'll start at the top here. I've got this little decoration set up. I'm planning to, when she's older actually, use these little vases to put some fresh cut flowers, do the flower cutting activity with her, and maybe we can even put some of the items we collect on our nature walks here. This is a little piano. She loves hitting this with her feet, and it's kind of encouraging her to start moving forward. She's definitely trying to crawl and trying to push herself, but she can't figure out just how to do it just yet. And this has been really fun for her to figure out. This is the book that I'm displaying for her right now. Absolutely love this book. If there is one book I can convince you to get this book. It is amazing. There's so much you can do, even from the youngest age. So this is her absolute favorite page. Any guesses why? Yes, definitely because it's black and white. Even now that she's able to see full color, she still screams from joy whenever she sees this page. There's just so much to learn here, you know, vocab, animals, colors. They've got shapes later, numbers. Then they've got full activities with different items you might notice throughout the day in your daily life. It's an amazing book. So I'm very excited that it's back in our house now. Over in this corner here, quickly, we've got a basket of stuffed animals. Most of them are actually mine that I've kept, but at the top are her two favorites. This little bunny that our friends actually got her. He sings and he plays peekaboo and she goes wild because his little ears move. And then this Santa. This Santa we purchased just as a Christmas decoration back in the day when my husband and I first got married. He just, you know, typical Santa that sings. The moment she hears this guy, she goes absolutely crazy. We even tried playing a game with her where she's facing one way and we played this song right behind her and she will do whatever she can to turn around and find where this guy is. It is amazing how much she loves him. And in the corner there is actually a Montessori mat on deck and ready for her to use it whenever she is ready for it. I purchased it at the same time that I got these baskets here just because the store's shipping was quite expensive and I figured if I'm going to be purchasing these anyway, the one thing I do know I'll definitely need is that, so I got it right away. So going through the baskets really quick, what I'm doing right now is just organizing her toys and activities based on the purpose they're serving. So whether it's movement or rattles or grasping, obviously as she's getting older, it's going to have to change into more one activity with one specific item. So I've got, for example, the object permanence box waiting for her to be ready to use it, and it will be just the one object permanence box in a shelf. For now, I'm trying to use this more as a storage for her toys, but still not too cluttered. So on top over here, this first basket, these are the items that are to encourage movement. So I've got the interlocking discs here. She started using these mostly to pass from hand to hand first, but now they do roll around in a really nice pattern. And they're encouraging her to move after them so she can get to them. Then we've got this bell rattle here. She loves the sound. She's a June baby, but she seems to love Christmas things more than anything else, honestly. And again, these are nice and small and they're good for her to learn how to grasp things. But now that she's mastered that, she loves watching it roll and trying to go after it to grab it. And this one is a favorite of her uncle's actually, because it is a little car that moves around. So again, if she pushes and it rolls away, she tries to propel herself after it. The next activity here, these are her rattles. So again, I've got the Montessori baby rattle here. It's nice and thin here for her to grasp, but also she likes to grasp it by the bigger ends here now that her hands are bigger. I've got another wooden rattle here, and this is one of her favorite toys. This is this little bear rattle. It does make me nervous because his hands and feet here are attached on a string. They're very strong, but whenever she's got this in her hands, my eyes are just glued to her because it does make me quite nervous. And I'm thinking very soon this guy's going to have to go out of rotation because she's getting stronger, and I don't want any accidents with this. And now I do have some non-wooden toys as well. So like I said, Montessori inspired, but it is still a home environment. So we've got just some regular plastic toys that do serve a purpose as well. For example, this rattle is good because you're able to see exactly what's making the noise. So it's showing her cause and effect. Instead of just being a sound that she can't figure out where it's coming from, she can see what is making the noise. This rattle I like in particular because it has a lot of places for her to hold. And when she was very little and first learning how to grasp, this was the one that she was able to hold on to the best. And now she likes it as a teething toy. This was actually her very first toy that her uncle got her. But surprisingly, she's just now able to play with it because it is thicker here. And her hands are just finally big enough to comfortably hold it. And again, the good thing is that you're able to see what is making the noise. So the next shelf is actually an item that is intended for much older kids. This is the Melissa and Doug Band in a Box, and it is for kids like 3 years and up, so it's definitely for toddlers. However, we found that she absolutely loves hearing music being made. So like in here, this little trumpet was her favorite rattle toy, especially when we made the trumpet sound. So I got this almost as an experiment to see how she would react. We don't let her mouth these, obviously, because they're not intended for infants, so the paint might chip off. These items aren't intended to go in her mouth, but we do kind of sit around together as a family sometimes and just play music on this, and she absolutely loves it. In here we've got a little basket of animals, so they're different colors, different animals that she can learn. And they do serve as nice teething toys, especially this elephant. His little ears are a nice shape and a nice thickness for her to mouth. Moving down to this bottom row here, this is her basket of sensory balls. One that is very easy for her to grasp. This one is an absolute favorite for her to teeth on. And then just some other fun textures and shapes and colors for her to explore. And in this basket are what I call her grasping toys. So they're not all necessarily rattles, they're not necessarily balls, but there are other things that are helping her develop her motor skills. This one is a favorite because again, she is able to mouth these and it helps her with teething, but she's also got multiple surfaces to grab onto and pass from hand to hand. A wooden teether for her. This little tambourine that she loves. Now she's loving to put this in her mouth again. Are we noticing a theme? Back here again, the favorite jingle bell sound, and it moves. So now she's learned how to kind of maneuver these pieces. Got the Montessori kite back here, nicely wrapped up for now. And this guy, he is someone that she goes absolutely crazy for. Number one is that Santa, but this is closely behind the Santa Claus. He makes a noise at the top. Each of his little feet move around, and his head rotates as well. She goes absolutely crazy with all these different sounds that he makes, and she tries to put each of his feet into her mouth and keeps her occupied for quite a while. Over here I've got a basket of blocks, a similar purpose like the balls, but they are a little different. I build a little tower for her with these, and they'll all fall down, so it kind of shows her cause and effect as well. Now that she's able to grab them, she's able to pass them hand to hand, and when they do roll away, she's encouraged to try to get after them. And in here is again another experiment. This is not the Montessori first puzzle that you would expect, which is either like the egg in the cup or just a single circle puzzle. These are again something that my mom still had in her school, and we just tried to put them here to see what she would do with them. And at first she was just interested in looking at the pictures. Eventually she was interested in just grabbing the whole thing and seeing what it will do. And we kept showing her, like you can try to grab this red piece and just take it out. And she was very interested in that. And just recently she has started aiming for this red knob and taking them out. This is her playmat. I looked for a long time for one that was not too bright and colorful, but also not completely neutral. I did want to have some bright colors because when her eyesight is just developing, you do want to have some bright colors for her to look at, to focus on. And this was the best option that I found, where the majority of it is still gray and it's got the black and white arch on top, but then it does have splashes of color, and it has served its purpose in getting her interested in looking at those spots specifically. So I'm really happy that this is the one I went with. Now these little corners, she's just now starting to interact with. So for example, here we've got this little octopus guy with the sensory legs, and she's loving to put them in her mouth, of course. She's got these flaps. I know some babies are really interested in tags, and that's why there's so many of them here. Still not something that we're interested in apparently, but maybe one day. So there is, you know, flaps all over like this. There is this corner right here, so you can stand all of them up like this and put the cards in here for her to reach for later. Another one here that kind of pulls down and gives her a little surprise. So she's just starting to figure that one out. And again, more of the tags over there. These are, again, more sensorial items for her, and she's just started to figure out that she can reach for them. And like I mentioned, back here is that Montessori mirror. And what I like to do actually is set up some cards for her, so when she's on her tummy, she's looking at herself. But also she can take a look at, right here, I've got just some color cards from South Africa that her daddy brought back for her from a business trip last year. And over there are the cards that came with the playmat. That tiger, that is, again, one of our favorite toys in the house. Why? We still do not know. Ever since she was a few weeks old, this guy and Mr. Santa Claus have been her absolute favorites. Behind the mirror is actually one of these ocean tummy time mats that you fill with water, and then when she presses on it, the fish and the duck moves around. This one is an interesting item because she does enjoy it for the first few minutes, but then she just gets really frustrated that she can't grab the items that are moving around. So it's hiding back here because I don't want her to get too frustrated from it, but she does enjoy it once in a while. So we take it out sometimes. You'll see I've got the little yoga mat under it, and just set it up on the yoga mat so she's not on the floor. Now a quick look through the books that we've got in here. We've got a variety in here. For example, these little tail books she absolutely loves. They're crinkly. They've got a little squeaker in here. These tails, she loves putting them in her mouth, of course. If your baby doesn't put things in her mouth, please let me know what you're doing, because everything goes in the mouth in this house. In the back, we've got Brown Bear, what do you see? So her dad and I will read them in Korean and Russian respectively, so she's learning the story in multiple languages. I got one of these sensorial animal books in here. She's learned how to flip pages, so we will show her a page and she will grab it and flip it over, and she hasn't really figured out how to touch these parts just yet, but she is enjoying looking at the pictures regardless. Got some more of these crinkly books that her grandma got her, so they're in all kinds of themes. This one is about the ocean, another one is about animals, and this one is actually a surprise for all of us because it's a simpler book called Little You, and it's got kind of a simple story, red, black, and white theme. Black, white, and red are the first colors they can see the best. So again, Daddy and I will read this in Russian and in Korean, so we're having to learn how to translate all these books on our own. And then back here, I've got the first 100 words book for her. I just recently bought this, so we've been looking through this with her as well. And in the bag there, I've actually got some childcare books for myself in there while there's still space. I'm pretty sure that's going to run out really soon though. And my plan is to soon put a little reading nook over there. So get rid of that little plant and put in a little space for her to sit on because she is getting interested in sitting. She's almost there. And then she can have a little cozy spot. That is our baby's Montessori Inspired Playroom. So that is it for the Playroom tour. I hope you enjoyed getting a look into our Montessori Inspired Playroom. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up as it would really support my channel. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel below. Turn on the bell notification so you know exactly when my next video will be up. I've got a Lovevery Playkit in the mail for Stella, so that will be something that I will be reviewing on my channel next week. I'm interested to see if it's actually worth it to buy some of those Montessori materials for her through the Playkits versus just getting them one by one as I've been doing so far. So if that's something that interests you, definitely stick around and be on the lookout for that video. And until then, I hope you stay safe.